How's it going, everyone? Agent Shadow here with another Monster Hunter Rise video, and today we're talking about in-game armor sets for the new update. So, we finally got our first update in new Elder Dragons in the game. Teostra, Chameleos, and Kushala Daora have been added, and they look so freaking amazing, and they're a blast to fight. We also received Basilgeuse, the B-52 bomber. So let's talk Chargeblade. This new update, I gotta say, isn't very promising as far as the new Chargeblade meta. The armor sets and skills that we received for all the new Elder Dragons for me was a bit underwhelming. There isn't much I could do to incorporate them into my sets. The skills were not the best for Chargeblade, plus they lacked the required slots to make up for that. So I ended up not using any of the new Elder Dragon's armor, which sucks because I was so excited for Teostra technique giving Master's Touch, but it looks like that's its own skill now and they're going a different direction with Elder Dragon set bonuses. I will say that Basilgeuse armor isn't all that bad for Chargeblade and has a good amount of skills that may work for it, but ultimately still falls short as the full set is tailored more for a gun lance. I noticed that a lot of sets in the game are especially tailored for certain weapons, especially like the bows and bowguns. When are we going to get some love, man? Alright, with all that being said, I'm going to show you guys today what my current sets look like and how I built them. These sets push out major damage and are still, in my opinion, optimized to the best of my abilities. So let's get into it. I tailor my builds for elemental/status effect damage primarily. This makes it so I have a set for every monster's elemental or status effect weaknesses. As you can see, they're clearly labeled for each element and status effect. Each one is a mixed set with different armor and skills slotted into max the damage. Starting with my water element build, I'm using the Juratotus Chargeblade with a mixed set. It's an elemental file, so instead of using Slugger for KO damage, I opted for weakness exploit. Of course, we maximize the elemental damage if possible, and always go with Artillery 3 to make sure file damage is maxed. I play an Axe Hopper AED spam playstyle, so this works out perfect for me. Next up is the Thunder build using the Raijin Chargeblade mix set. The main difference here is that Raijin Chargeblade is an impact file Chargeblade, so I focused on the skill Slugger, still maxing out Thunder attack and attack boost with 2 stacks of artillery. Also, Evade Extended 3 is great for survivability and greatly increases the iframes you get when dodging. The Raijin Chargeblade has the highest raw base damage in the game, and is an awesome Chargeblade to use. I find that this set does a really good job of maximizing damage dealt through files, as well as sword and axe attacks, and is my absolute go-to set to use in any given situation where I'm fighting a new monster. My fire build uses the new Ragnikadaki Chargeblade that was added in the latest update. It's one of the only good things for Chargeblade to come out with this update at all. It has a small amount of white sharpness, but not a lot. Same goes for blue and green sharpness, and mostly has red sharpness, which is why I put the Bludgeoner skill on here. I was lucky to get a great Talisman that had it, as well as some good jewel slots. This is an elemental Chargeblade, so again, no Slugger here, but always focus on maxing file damage by having max attack boost and artillery. Load Shells is also great here for quick file charging, which makes it so we can keep up the AEDs. My Ice build is almost identical to my Thunder build. After all, they are both impact file Chargeblades. The main difference here being that the Gauss Harag Chargeblade has more slots so we can add extra skills. Due to that, we were able to get max artillery here. Again, Evade Extended 3 for some good survivability, as well as a stack and offensive guard for a little damage boost whenever we guard point, which as a Chargeblade main, we do all the time. Next up is the Max Crit Nargacuga build. This build I don't use too often, though it's great for maxing critical damage. I haven't really found much use out of it as it's mostly made for a Savage Axe playstyle where you're using your weapon to deal more damage than your files. We have attack boost level 6 and some critical eye that gives the weapon a 60% natural affinity, which is super good. Plus weakness exploit 2, which takes that 60 and turns it into 90 when hitting weak spots, and crit boost, which gives it a 35% damage increase when landing critical hits, which as you see will be pretty much all the time. Though I don't use this build a lot, the skills work very well together and dish out some great damage. Now for some status effect builds. First up is my poison build. Here I use the Chameleos Chargeblade. I used to use the Basarios Chargeblade, but the Chameleos Chargeblade, while it is slightly weaker than Basarios, has a levels 3 deco slot, which I think is worth having. We've maxed out attack boost of course, and also weakness exploit. Poison attack is maxed so build up is quick and constant. Artillery, of course, to keep files strong, and low shells to keep files charged and dish out that damage. For Blast, I'm using Magnum Mallow Chargeblade, of course. And yeah, I know Teostra has a Chargeblade now, but as I mentioned in the beginning, it's super underwhelming. Only 12 points more blast attack at 180 raw, with no slots, compared to Magnum Mallow at 200 raw and 2 and a 1 slot. For me, it's a no-brainer. We also maxed out blast attack in this build, making the difference in blast attack irrelevant. Maxed artillery, evade extender, and speed sharpening for some utility. Again, I play an Axe Hopper AED style Chargeblade, so I tailor my builds for always dishing out file damage, which don't need a lot of critical skills. Last up is the Dragon Attack build, which again is a little similar to my other Elemental Chargeblade builds. Maxed out attack across the board with Dragon Attack max as well, weakness exploit and artillery of course with load shells also, rapid morph and the rest just for a little bit of utility. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed the video, and hope my builds helped. As I said before, the new monsters and Elder Dragons haven't added much for the Chargeblade meta, but the fights are still amazing and the new jewels that we got are dope. What would you guys like to see next? Leave a comment and tell me what you guys would like to see on the channel. And if you haven't already, leave a like and subscribe for more Monster Hunter Rise content. Till next time, good luck and happy hunting.